Hi, Mark here from Rockin Walls. I'm going to show you on this video the method that I've used in order to create the railing rod for this project in Myersville. This is actually the finished project where the builder, Tim, has come back and put the cedar post in with the stainless steel rods here as shown. He's actually included also at the bottom of this, in order to make it level, bolts and washers, or I should say actually screws and washers to level it off. And I just wanted to show you this before we got right into the video. So bear with me and let's take a look on how I went about to build these. Hi, Mark here from Rockin Walls. I wanted to share with you what I call plug and play railing rods. Now these rods are something that I first saw at a project that Neil Rippingale was working on at Fairfield, Pennsylvania. It was a dry laid stone structure, and they were using these type of rods that were just steel for the roofing system. They'd put them in the wall, and as they built up the wall, this stayed in the middle, and at the top the sill plate would sit on it so the roof could sit on top of that. So it was a very interesting idea. This structure itself is a retaining wall. Unfortunately, there's no real back to it. We're building out with boulders and gravel and stuff, so there's no really good places for me to anchor. So what we thought I'd try is the same concept, and I wanted to share with you what I've come up with and what I'm hoping to attempt. Now, this is the first time trying this, and there are maybe endless possibilities. So I'm going to share with you this information, and you can take it, and maybe it can come in handy for other projects you're working on. So first off, this is just an example. More or less, this has been set roughly about 13-15 inches below the top of the course. This stone itself is almost like a tie stone. So I basically put this rod and plate in this stone so it anchors back in, and I'm going to explain that. First, let me show you exactly what we've done here. So you get a little closer here. This plate is, this is all stainless steel. This is a 3/8 plate, and this size is 4 inch by 4 inch. And that could be any size. We basically put the nuts top and bottom. And when I say we, the builder of the house here, who's done a lot of fabricating, he actually took care of this and has come up with this for me based on some of the other designs that some of the other fellows have been using. The thread size is all thread. It's a 6-foot rod because the lengths of the rods typically come in 12 foot, so it's just cut in half. And this is 3/4 inch. So basically 3/8 plate, 3/4 inch size rod, all thread, and then nut on the inside. So basically nut top and bottom just to make sure. Now in theory this is welded. It is kind of the weakest point over time. So let me show you what that looks like here. So, you know, once again, that's put in the bottom of the stone, and since it's square, it's been cut out. Let me explain, come on over, let me explain some of the tools, and then we're going to turn this stone over. So some of the tools that I'm using in order to achieve this application is, first off, I'll mark it off. I have a small little template right here, which I can use to do all my markouts. And since they're loose nuts, I can take it on and off if I need to. So this allows me to get everything lined up and sketch it all out on the bottom of the stone. Now, so just jumping back to the tools here, diamond cup grinder, just a little cutting wheel on the grinder. Sometimes in the corners, what I'll find is once I cut out where the corners are with these, it gets a little tight, so I like to use the pointer or one of the little mashing hammers to take out the corners. And then to drill the hole, I'm actually using a hammer drill with a 1 inch, so it allows a little bit of play. And then, of course, with my marking, either a soapstone pencil or a Sharpie, primarily the Sharpie. Let me turn this stone over, come on over, and let me show you. This is a smaller one here. Let me show you what this looks like. So basically, the theory is, so the plate's put in, I mark everything out, I cut it all out so it's nice and square, and when you drill with the hammer drill, first off, I'll set my stones where I want them, breaking the joints, and then I'll set my stones where I believe I should be. In length on this, I was actually on this specifically because of the size of the post. I came back about 10 to 11 inches which was the builder's request. Since they're handling the actual railings, they're going to use natural wood on these. Now, so talking to my sculptor buddy, he said instead of using any kind of flexible epoxies or any kind of mortars, put it in dry, but then in order to avoid potential frost issues with water freezing, if water gets in there, just cut out drains. So more or less, I've just cut out 2 drains on each stone. So it's really nice. So, you know, once again, use the little template to get all this figured out. And with the hammer drill, when you drill it, it does cause the bottoms to pop out, which is good because then it allows the room for the nut to actually sit right up in there. So when I slide this back up in there, everything sits fairly nice and tight. So then once I get everything in there, I can set it back on the wall where it's supposed to be. And if it's rocking by any chance, then I have to come in and then I might have to cut out underneath where the nut is sitting. So that's just a couple things to think about. So just got it back in there. So now this is all gravity and friction. So that's what it looks like. So let's just walk around here and explain a little bit more, and then I can show you the finished ones. So as I'm building the wall, once again the longer ones, what I'll do is I start to build up my courses. You know, obviously I'm trying to break the joints so I can work around the rods. The nice thing is with the distance, since it's so far back, it does make it easy to put a stone which has a good face to it. But on the back ends, I like to put another stone, so it's almost extending your tie stones. This is almost like a tie stone tying into the 2 walls, but by getting a longer tail, it really keeps the leverage to avoid the rod or weight load to be pushed out. Also, what my sculptor friend said was a triangle is the strongest, one of the strongest shapes. So he said it's important to create a triangle. If this railing was a straight railing, it might be more prone to being able to be pushed over or out. But because it's a curve, you create a triangle. Also, it's possible I could have put another like wire or guide wire that could have gotten anchored further in, or even a plate that could have gotten tied back into the wall as I built. That's a possibility. That's something that if you're looking to try to take this on, you might want to consider something like that. But very simple technique. And once again, as I'm building up my courses, just working around the rod. So let's head over and I'll show you the finished wall. So come on over. Maybe before we get too far here, up close, if you want to look at some of these are actually some steps that we did. And with the steps, these are larger 7-inch stones and same technique. So these are just put right into one large stone. And then, you know, once again, this is going to have a wooden post that's going to slide all the way down, and that post will have adjustments in order to allow the rod. So when I'm putting these rods in, I do want to try to make sure they have the ability to be somewhat level for the next person that comes along. But with the capstones, if maybe let's just walk up here, and you can really see the caps. So when I get to the top courses, what I'm doing is I actually set my cap first that's going to have the railing rod. So I measure out what my distance is back. I'll drill it, and then I'll basically slide this stone down. And then from there, just like when you're setting tie stones, then you start to build to that stone. So this is stone set first, and then everything else is fit after that. So this is really the last stone that's drilled. So your first stone that the plate sits in, and then your capstone is what it sits in. Now you may have to cut a couple others, but that's why I only went a couple courses down, 3 courses or 3 to 4 courses down. I don't want to go too far. But the nice thing is with the weight load, everything anchored back, the likelihood of this being able to be pushed out is very minimal. So just wanted to share this with you. You might find other applications, you might find a better way. If you do, please put it in the comments below. Really excited to see how this works out. It's you know, life is full of surprises, so I'm anxious to see how it's all going to turn out. So thank you for checking this out. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please support me. Thank you.